The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
2:30 in the morning! And joining us from New Orleans is Wendi right now. Hi, Wendi.
Hello, Wendi.
Hello, gorgeous ones.
You aren't you?
What
nice?
an honor.
Battery will get you everywhere, Wendi.
You look gorgeous. I love your bangs.
Oh, you're so nice. I've been chopping them myself, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't.
Wait, you cut your own hair?
That's what you have to do with bangs. You
Sometimes
just
I
have to.
cut my own hair.
Yeah.
And
I cut my own hair too, but it's a tremendously easier job than
Yeah,
I'm sure
yours is like a razor.
bangs is.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it.
I cut my kid's hair and my dog's hair, and other than that, I'm staying away from it. Yeah, but I don't cut the girls' hair anymore because they're so finicky about it. Even at the young age, they're like,
Oh, yeah.
I want my ponytail, I want my buns.
My mom used to cut my hair
Did
growing
she?
up,
Oh.
and she would always get the bangs too short, and we would always be so upset with her.
Always.
So
And
that's
always
why
with the Fiskars, like the cloth cutting scissors,
Yes.
the chunkiest
yes.
scissors you can find in the house. Come on.
I know.
Wow.
Okay, we got to ask a question because we were just talking about this, and I want to see where you stand on this. Do you understand any of Christopher Nolan's films? Do you understand Inception, Tenet, and Dunkirk, any of them?
So I've not seen any of those.
No,
Okay.
Wendi. What?
You should just stay out of the fray then. Yeah.
So I'm going to say, no, I don't.
You know?
Actors sure love working with them.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
they do. I'm
You
sure
know?
if you got a phone call from Christopher Nolan, you wouldn't turn
Oh,
it
of
down.
course.
Yeah.
I do it and not understand it the whole time and be totally fine.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
the way to approach it.
You know what? We're dying for a viral moment. I think we just got one. Wendi has never seen a Christopher Nolan movie. That's crazy.
Please.
You are in three. Krissy and I were talking about this before you came on. You are in three of the most iconic roles. And so I'm so grateful that you're here because these three,
It's an honor,
it's an
really.
honor, honestly.
I'm honored.
The Goldbergs, Bridesmaids, and the criminally undermentioned when talking about the best comedy shows ever, Reno 911, which
my.
is like, those are three incredibly iconic roles. Was Reno 911 your very first like major television role?
It was.
And it's been on for
was.
like 20 years consistently,
20
constantly.
years.
Isn't that
20
crazy?
years.
That's crazy.
How did you get the job as with Reno 911? How did you get the role?
It's funny. And some magazine, I think it was Cracked, just did a big, long article with all of us, anyone that they could find that had ever been part of it, on how this all came together. And this is my version. They had done a pilot for Fox. Fox sat on it for 2 years and never did anything with it.
No.
So then they presented it to Comedy Central because they had been on Comedy Central before on the state, had good relationships with them, and said, "Hey, what do you think about this, improvised cop show?"
Yeah.
And they said, "Great, yeah, let's do it." Well, one of the other deputies from the first pilot, she was on something else, so they needed to look for someone who could improvise, and the casting director's assistant saw me when I was understudying someone else in some other comedy show.
No way.
That's
Okay.
like an Inception moment.
That is
And
an
it's-
Inception moment. If you had seen the movie, you'd know.
Weirdest thing. And it was at a time when I personally was like, maybe I'm just not getting anywhere in this business. Maybe I need to just make my peace with the fact that, I did just get into the Groundling Theater, which is no small feat.
No, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a real agent. I didn't have anything going for me. I would go to the theater for rehearsals and stuff and hear everybody talking about all these auditions they went on. And I was like, I'm not doing it on anything. Anyway, I sort of made my peace with it and was like, okay, look, maybe I will never make any money doing this, but this is my life now.
Yeah.
I have this opportunity at the Groundlings. This doesn't happen for everybody. So it happens for very few people. So I got to take this chance and just keep working, keep doing my thing. And even if nothing ever works out, I will have an interesting life doing
True.
this.
It's a story that that very few people in their life will be able to say. It's an exclusive club to be in the ground.
Exactly, very exclusive club. So I kind of made my peace with it and was like ready to throw my headshots off the pier. And then I got this call. Oh, we saw you in this weird little show you were doing, so let's bring you in. And it was one of those nightmare situations, not for me at the time, but for most people, they would find it a nightmare, that everyone can hear what you're doing in the audition room because the walls are so thin.
Yeah, that's got to be terribly stressful and anxiety inducing.
Yeah. So I could hear what everybody's doing, and I'm thinking, well, that's not funny at all. They want a sexy cop, and I don't know that I can play that, but I can play someone who thinks she's sexy. That's funnier.
Smart.
Yeah.
So I did that, and while I was in the waiting room, sometimes there's someone who is known for trying to psych people out of their auditions.
I've heard of that.
Some people just come into in the audition room and they come up to you and they just start talking to you, but making you kind of lose your confidence or lose your concentration. And someone was doing that to me.
They were playing head games with you.
Playing head games with me. But the thing is it's improv. So play all the head games you want. Once I go in there, none of this means anything. I don't even know what they're going to ask me to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not forgetting any lines, you bitch.
Dipshit.
So I went in, I did my thing, and then I got a call that night. Okay, that was amazing. Come in the next time, do the exact same thing. And I did. And then I called my manager and I said, hey, I think I booked a pilot.
Whoa.
And she was like, what? I didn't know you went out for a pilot.
Do you have a new manager?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Yeah. Anyway, the rest is history. We did our dumb little thing, and it should be noted that this paid so little money that I had another job. I had an office job while I was
You had an office job while you were doing Reno 911?
I had an office job up until I got the Goldbergs.
You are kidding me.
Wow.
That's how things pay.
Yeah.
So even 5, 6 seasons. I mean, listen, I understand it's Comedy Central. It's not ABC, right? There's different budgets, and it's an improv show. You're probably working on very little budget every episode.
And it's basic cable.
And it's basic cable.
Wow.
But you would think that it would pay you enough to at least live, living wage.
I guess I could have, but I didn't want to take that chance.
Yeah, fair
Right.
enough.
Right.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't want
just
to take
decided.
it. I did buy a brand new Honda for cash.
There you
Good
go.
for you.
But all through everything else I did, Rules of Engagement, Bridesmaids, up until the Goldbergs. And I wouldn't have quit, but the journal folded. I was working for a social work journal.
Okay.
At Cal State Long Beach. So anyway, so that happened. And who knew this thing would never be off the air?
I know.
It doesn't pay residuals.
I was just about to ask, does it pay residuals? It does not?
No. The movies
That's criminal.
do.
Yeah.
And then, we got, when Quibi came out, I don't know if you remember that.
It was
4-month
15 minutes
period.
long. It lasted for 15 minutes.
Just like every episode of every show.
Yeah, that's right.
So they brought us back and it was insane.
Yeah, they were paying you a lot of
money. To try
money.
to get back into that headspace while I'm on another show playing the complete opposite character.
Right.
And we banged out, 2 or 3 more movies.
Yeah. There's so many movies and there's so many episodes of that show.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll go back to the well with Reno 911, or is it?
I mean, I don't know who would pay for such a thing at this point. I mean, and we're lucky that we did that.
Yeah, sure.
Comedy Central ended up buying all the Quibi stuff or the Roku channel. It's airing somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, if they call me, of course I'll go back, but I don't. That's a hard call because so many of us are working
Yeah.
It's really hard to schedule everybody together.
Sure.
So
everyone's moved on, and it's like you got to get everybody's time, and then does everybody want to do it? And are the characters still relevant? Listen, I would say yay, because I could watch Reno 911 and the Goldbergs back to back to back for the rest of my life, and probably be highly entertained. And the thing I love about Reno 911 and your character Clementine and the way you interact with Dangle is that honestly, every time I watch an episode, you pick up something different, something funny that is just like subversive, or you didn't notice in the first one. It's got so many little funny parts that I think you miss on the first watch, but you get on the second one. It's an iconic role. And I mean, I can imagine when you are on the Goldbergs, and which is not basic cable, which is like, biggest network in the world, Disney owned, all this other stuff. And you're working a day job or a night job or whatever it is in the office. Does that lead to some interesting conversations with people in the office?
Yeah.
Is it just kind of like,
by the time the Goldbergs started, I had quit.
You moved on. Okay. Gotcha.
Because there was no time. There was no time. Like, I missed birthdays. I didn't take vacations. Like, I was tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad.
But yeah, I was doing so much with this other, with my other stuff. The great thing about this job is that I could come and go whenever I wanted. Nobody cared when I came in or if I came in, just as long as I did my work and turned it in.
Oh, brilliant.
And it was only a 20-hour-a-week thing. So I would be skulking around there late at night, photocopying things and turning things in, answering mail. And sometimes there would be professors there working on their own stuff. And I remember this one guy says, "Oh, you're the one that's an actress or something?" "Yeah." "Are you in that new Bridesmaids thing?" "Yeah." "Oh, I hear it's terrible."
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Who says that to somebody?
First of all,
And what is your name, sir?
Yeah. And who the fuck says that after actually seeing Bridesmaids? It was a runaway hit. It's the funniest fucking movie ever. I swear to God, it is.
Oh, God. It was just like, I don't know what's going to happen with it. I mean, it didn't get great reviews in the beginning.
I
it really didn't.
Yeah.
It was very polarizing review-wise, but the box office said differently. So,
and I could watch that movie anytime. In fact, it popped up just the other day on something I was watching, and I was like, yep, want to keep watching the whole entire rest of it.
Well, this is so stupid, but have you seen the DVD extras?
I have not seen the DVD extras.
Well, let me delight you with this information. There is like 3 more hours of movie.
What?
There are entire characters that were cut out.
Really?
It was
my
it was
God.
very ambitious, and the whole thing was just way too damn long. And there's deleted scenes, all kinds of fun stuff. So if
Oh
you
God, I've got to
are
get that
looking
now,
for
and I
something
have
else,
a DVD player still.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so do I. So
you
now
know,
I'm
and I
going to
think
go
a
get
lot of it lives
Bridesmaids.
on YouTube as well. So
okay, I've got to watch that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that tip.
Were you and Kristen Wiig, you were in Groundlings together, right? Or you were in the same class together?
Yeah. Me and Kristen and the other writer, Annie Mumolo, and Melissa.
McCarthy.
Yeah, we were all at the Groundlings at the same time. Maya was, I think her picture was still on the wall, but she wasn't performing with us. She was on SNL.
Yeah.
And we all met at someone else's wedding shower, but nobody else remembered that. I will never forget it because it was at Melissa's house or Melissa's apartment, but she wasn't there because she was filming Gilmore Girls.
Oh my
But
God.
we were all there, and like Kristen and I were broke. I mean, not broke, but like we didn't. This was all like, oh my God, we're just trying to get somewhere.
Right.
Sure,
Right.
yeah.
We were still very much in the, I got to scrape some money together to buy a wig for this next performance.
Sure.
Oh, we get it, Wendy.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah. You're in the trenches with the
Yes, we are.
wigs
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah. So, yeah, that happened. And then, I mean, the rest is history. But I was also there with Michaela Watkins
Yep.
and Nat Faxon, Jim Rash
Did you-
from Unity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Groundlings. It's like the Groundlings is an incubator for extraordinary comic talent, right? And I'm sure there are so many names that we could mention and associated with the Groundlings that have gone on to do some of the most hilarious work.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh, God, she's brilliant. Yeah. When you go to do Bridesmaids, does Kristen call you up? Does she say, hey, listen, I want you to take this role in Bridesmaids? Or does she make you audition?
We had to audition.
Damn it, Kristen. Damn it, I thought you were cool.
She called us, she and Annie called us in probably 2007.
Jeez.
To do the table read. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Movies take a while.
Yeah.
They do.
And we all did that. It was fun. And then when it came back, came time to like, oh, this might actually happen. I was just thrilled that they thought of me.
Sure.
To come in. And my grandpa had just died. And I went in. I was not feeling funny. It was like on a Saturday or some ridiculous thing. And I'm just like, yes, I'll go in. I didn't want to. I wanted to cancel and sulk. But I went in and we improvised something. And I thought, oh, well, that's really nice that they let me come in.
Sure.
And then I got called back. And I went in and there were like all these big name people in the waiting room. And I thought, well, I'm not going to get it. But again, very nice that they brought me back.
Yeah.
And then Kristen and Annie did that thing where they called me up and they're like, look, you did the best you could. And I just wanted you to know that we want you to do it. But, they played it out, really dragged it out. And I'm thinking, just get to the bloody point. I didn't get it. But I did. And listen, I just thought, oh, we're making a fun movie with Judd Apatow. And who knows, whatever. Maybe I'll get to make some more movies. You never know how anything's going to go.
No, absolutely.
So
what a mature attitude to take when you're in the trenches, right? Because I imagine that acting especially, but just like comedy, you're going to get up there. Sometimes you're going to flail around. You're going to fail. There's going to be a lot more failure than there will be successes. And anybody who's had probably any longevity in any entertainment venture knows that. The failures lead to some minor successes that then lead to something that blows up. And Bridesmaids may not have gotten great reviews, but obviously anyone who's seen it knows it's fucking hilarious, right? And it's a classic comedy movie now. And so, but what a mature attitude to take. Like, hey, listen, if I get it, I get it. And if I don't, it was nice. I'm grateful for the opportunity to walk in and sharpen my teeth just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And probably for your mental health.
That's how you have to look at everything. If you place so much importance on every audition, you're going to go insane.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, you're not going to get most of them. Mm-hmm. But they'll remember you for something else if you were good.
Right.
If you can take direction. There's so much of it that has nothing to do with you and you can't even think about it.
Yeah.
So, if you want to stay in it for the long term, that's how you have to think about things.
Question about both Reno 911 and Bridesmaids. Those are largely improv projects, right? Mm-hmm. Is that why there's 3.5 hours of extra movie that's not on there? They just kept taking takes. Okay, let's try this. Okay, let's try this line. Okay, now let's put him in this situation, and then we'll whittle it down.
Or the takes just keep going on and on and on because everyone's firing on all cylinders, and there's no way you can use all that.
No.
But there was a written script for Bridesmaids, and if you read it, which I have not in a long time. There's a lot. I mean, you're gonna not recognize a lot of it.
Yeah,
sure.
But I couldn't tell you like how much ended up, like what the percentages ended up being of improv and scripted in the film. But Reno, literally, all we ever got was like a couple of sentences.
Yeah.
Did you film a large majority of that in Reno?
We filmed none of it in Reno.
It was all in L.A.?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. That's interesting.
Because, if we had gone there...
you never would have survived.
No. How many people do you think would have made it to the set in the morning?
Right, exactly.
Or gambled away their paychecks, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So do you audition for the Goldbergs, or did they call you for that role?
They called me for that because I was on a show called Rules of Engagement. They brought me in for a one-off, and I did like 14 episodes or something like that. I ended up staying a lot.
Yeah.
Playing Liz, the crazy cat lady with one long boob.
Yes.
Which was really, really fun. And so it was the same production company and a really cool couple of producers, Annette Davis and Doug Robinson. They were helping produce the Goldbergs, and I weirdly look a lot like Adam's mom.
Beverly.
In real life, yeah. Now, that show was originally called How the Bleep Am I Normal?
Oh.
It wasn't called The Goldbergs. And then it was called The Goldens.
The Goldens.
And then the president of ABC at the time said, just call them The Goldbergs.
Best move ever.
So if anyone, has a problem that a non-Jew was playing a Jew, that's how that came about. And I don't even think we mentioned Hanukkah or anything till like season 3. So that's become a wee bit of an issue in the past couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's how that happened, and
Did you expect?
There you go.
I did okay with that role. So.
Yeah, exactly. More than okay.
When you were reading the Goldbergs, when they call you up and they say, "Here's the script, and check it out. Do you think you can do this?" You're so good in that role. You as a young man watching Reno 911, I have a little crush on Clementine, right? But then when I see you as Beverly, you're totally my mom. It's so weird that you play these two opposites, but it's so good. Did the part really resonate with you? Did you expect it to become such a hit?
Well, again, I was just like, I'm so happy to do this. I really hope it goes on forever.
Yeah.
But the thing that made me say, oh, I'm doing this one is the video package that they sent me of the home movies.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I know this lady. I get it. I get it big time. Because my mom was a smother as well.
Yeah.
A Baptist smother, but very much like act first, apologize later.
Yeah.
Everyone's out to get you. I am your sanctuary.
Yeah.
I will do anything for you. And that's just good parenting. I'm sorry.
I agree.
There's worse things in life than to have a mother that loves you, for God's sake.
Right.
Yeah.
I was watching a video and they were talking about the difference between nurturing and smothering and how that affects children as they grow up. And the psychiatrist who had written a book on this particular show said, it doesn't matter. There is no difference.
Yeah.
What makes a child independent, able to work in the world, is the kind of love that is shown. It doesn't matter if they're smothering or if they're nurturing. It's almost the same thing. Yeah. What matters is, do they have a safe place to the fall? Mm-hmm. Do they put guardrails? And do they know they can always turn to somebody when they need help? He's like, that's what makes an independent person. Can they go out on their own, but do they know they have a soft place to fall?
Exactly.
And so we all know that. Yeah, my mother was like that too. I think that's a pretty common,
It's a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
And then, to be at like Comic-Con and have, it's not like this happened a lot, but it happened enough for me to get a little freaked out by it. People coming up, I wish I had a mom like you.
I know, that's kind of sad.
When you go to these Comic Cons, is it to just some people are totally freaky about it? They're like, oh
I'm
my
sure
God,
there's freaky
there's gotta be. I mean, there's freaky people everywhere.
I'm sure.
Well, that's the interesting thing. And I haven't gone to a Comic Con since before COVID. But it's such an interesting phenomenon.
It really
Yeah.
is.
that people will pay so much money to buy these bobbleheads or dress in character and just let their freak flags fly. You know,
Yeah.
but they love it. And you find that they know your show better than you do a lot of times.
Yes.
So, like, if you get lazy with the continuity and you think no one's going to notice, you're wrong. They're
Yeah.
going to notice. And
Yes.
they will be very specific about what you did that was incorrect. And it's like, okay, well, that's good to
can
know. That's good
imagine.
feedback. People are paying attention.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Like, did you realize in episode number 14 that the glass moved from the left to the right in
Yeah.
scene 32? It's like, okay, dude, settle down. It's just a television show.
Exactly. But
It is weird, though, to
keep
have
you on
this.
your toes.
True.
It is weird to have this phenomenon where, you know, Comic-Con, when I was a child and Comic-Con was just, or when I was in a teenager, and Comic-Con was just getting started, Comic-Con and Dragon Con and all this stuff, it really like appealed to a certain sci-fi or horror sect of the population. People who are like really into this Star Trek and Star Wars and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And now it's expanded, and there are so many mainstream television shows where all of these characters, where actresses like you or actors in other movies, they can go and they can, you know, make a few extra bucks and touch and talk to the fans one-on-one, and those people go crazy for it.
Yeah, it's
they
like a
have
tribe.
BravoCon, for God's sake.
And that's their
BravoCon.
own thing too.
Don't get me started. Do not get me started.
Do you
Yeah,
watch Bravo?
what's that?
Do you watch Bravo? Are you like a Bravo?
Oh, I quit cold turkey.
Good for
in
you.
2014 because when was the shutdown?
2020.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years ago. I was so into it, and then
Yeah.
I became so ashamed of myself. Like, why do I care?
I did the same thing. Now I've since picked back up on a couple of them, but yeah, I couldn't watch any of that stuff. I was like, this is so outside of reality, and
Yeah.
it made me feel icky. Yeah.
I mean, and you really watch people drink the Kool-Aid and start to love their fame and start to do
Yeah.
anything they can to stay, you know, making those
Very true.
little paychecks
Yeah.
for reality TV and then get podcasts. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not my thing anymore, but
Yeah.
Listen, when I first saw Real Housewives of Atlanta so many years back when it
We're
came
in
on,
Atlanta,
and we're in
by the way.
Atlanta, by the
Oh,
way. So
okay. I've spent
I
a
was
lot
like,
of time in
they're-
Atlanta.
They're not in Atlanta. They're not technically in Atlanta. Most of them are not wives, and they're not living in their own houses.
Exactly.
What is real about this? There's nothing real about
Yeah.
this. It's all just manufactured drama. And then we know somebody who was on one of the seasons, and
wow.
it was
surreal.
It was
Yeah.
surreal and not real. It was like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
'cause
this
that's
is
not
just
who
so
she was.
so crazy for
Yeah,
sure.
Weird.
You are now a part of a television show that is another huge hit, and we've had a number of these the voice actresses and
Yeah.
actors on the show from Big City Greens
Greens.
on
Yes.
Disney. I mean,
How fun.
yeah.
So fun. So
Paul
fun.
Scheer. We had Paul Scheer. And
We did
then
have Paul Scheer,
who
yep.
was the other
I don't
one
know
just
if the other
recently?
one- yeah.
But yeah, you've got to be the third one. And I mean, you're the mom, right?
I'm the motorcycle mom. Yeah. 4 years in a movie or 2 movies. Yeah, we had a Christmas movie and Spacecation, which comes out on June 6th. So
Spacecation,
Oh,
June 6th.
I'm gonna
I'm
have to
marking
tell
my calendar.
Yeah, I'm going to tell
Yes.
my nephews.
I know I
Yeah.
can keep my kids occupied for 90 minutes.
right,
with
and
steak.
the actress who plays the grandma,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandma's the
Artemis
favorite.
Hebdani, he was also in the Groundlings at the same time as me, and she played lunch lady Doris on the Goldbergs.
Oh, wow.
And she has a coffee house out here in NOLA.
No way.
Yeah, small world, right?
What?
That is insane.
Yeah.
Do you do when you read for Big City Greens? I mean, I don't know. I know every animation is different, but when you read for Big City Greens, is it a group read? Are you in the same room? Are you bouncing off each other? Or is it just I just do my parts and then someone else comes and does their parts?
The only time I've ever gotten to be in the room with other actors is for Bob's Burgers.
Okay.
Is that right? I think that's right. Yeah. So I go in and I do my stuff all by myself.
And do you enjoy the voice work?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so fun, and it's so gratifying when you finally see it.
Yeah.
Right.
I can only imagine.
And because really when you see it, or when you're in the booth, most of the time it's just the animatic. So it's just the rough drawings.
Yeah.
And you're doing it to scratch. Like, so someone else has dubbed in your voice as a place saver. So they need you to come in and bring life to it. And it's fun, but it's a challenge because a lot of times the physicality is stuff that you would never do in real life. So you don't know how to like fall off a motorcycle and catch a pizza in your mouth.
Yeah.
So that might take a while.
Yeah.
to get that right. But that's, again, what makes it so fun. And, these little challenges like, okay, can I play this off? I really don't know what I'm doing. And there's times when I've punched my own stomach, or, you've got to run so you can get that panting going or whatever. But it's the most fun. And Big City Greens is adorable. It's such a cute show.
I know. And how did it work? I know my nephews were introducing me to it a little while back with it was a hockey game.
The hockey game. That's what my kids have been watching.
We're doing, a simultaneous.
It
was a live.
I don't think I think there were two sportscasters that were animated. And then they had a live hockey game that was actually on I think on ABC. And then they put, I guess, what they did was they had the characters playing out the live hockey game while it was going on. And then they had two separate sportscasters that were animated that were calling it for children.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's adorable, and I know nothing about that.
I don't,
This is the first time hearing about that, but what a great opportunity for cross-pollination.
I know, right? Now you're in the know.
Between Big City Greens and Bluey, the other show that's on Disney currently making adults crazy, so many adults talking about Big City Greens, so many adults talking about Bluey, and we've been talking a lot about how animation is just on another level these days. They're shows that, most of them are shows that adults and children can watch, and each of us gets something out of it, right?
Right.
And Big City Greens is one of those. So I thank you for making a watchable animation show with my children.
Well, I'm gonna thank the Houghton brothers for you, because I just show up and do my thing. But I like the way that the kids have good relationships with their divorced parents, and their divorced parents are not sniping at each other all the time.
Right.
They're not at each other all the time.
Yeah, they're just didn't work out. Whatever. We can still live and have a good time.
It's a sassy little show with a little bit of, moral nuggets in there that like you can appreciate that your children are absorbing, or hope that they're absorbing.
Right.
So tell us about your the television show coming out. When's St. Denis coming out?
St. Denis is coming out I'm going to say the fall.
Okay.
I don't have an air date yet.
Yeah. Okay.
They haven't told us. They'll probably tell us at the upfronts in a couple weeks.
What about, the Vicky White story really quick?
Thank you for asking about that.
I mean, it was so fascinating, so riveting. And I mean, tell us about playing that part.
Okay. So a couple of years ago, we were doing one more season of the Goldbergs, and I was offered a development deal by Sony, and we were talking about the kinds of things I'd like to do. And I said, I don't know if you guys are watching the news right now, but have you seen that blonde prison guard that died? And she was sneaking her boyfriend out and blah, blah, blah. I think I could play her, and I think that story is pretty juicy.
It is.
And in pretty short order, it was set up.
Wow.
And it was set up for Lifetime, which I was like, I never saw myself doing a Lifetime movie. Whatever.
But whatever.
I was half serious when I said I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So they got some screenwriters, and we looked at samples and read their treatment, and I loved their take on it, because my take was the same way, which is I don't think that she was coerced into anything. You cannot coerce a woman in her 50s to do anything she doesn't want to do.
Very true.
Yeah.
I think she snapped. She was sick of doing everything the right way for so long with no reward. Mm-hmm. And someone saw her and loved her, and she went off the deep end.
Exactly.
That's what I think happened. And I think the 11 days that they were on the run were probably the best of her adult life.
Yep.
That's an interesting take, and I think you might be right about that.
Yeah. And there is no logic in it because love is not a logical emotion.
Yeah, an infatuation.
That is.
I think we can point to times in our own lives where we did dumb things, and we can, just watch the news.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or watch Real Housewives. But I think that, because this was not a bad person, and she was Employee of the Year so many years in a row. She took care of her ex-husband who had Parkinson's. She took care of him until the day he died. He died in January. She's dead in April.
Wow.
She snapped.
She snapped, yeah.
So
for sure.
We filmed that last June, just in time for the strike to happen.
For the strike.
So we finished in time for the strike, but the strike kept going on, so we couldn't promote it when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's still available on Amazon.
It's still available.
Yep.
And I'm really proud of it. I think we did a good job of making a lifetime movie.
Exactly.
Not
so
like
true.
I'm trying to diss Lifetime. But they have a certain flavor.
They do have a certain flavor.
You think of a certain thing.
This is a little grittier than that.
It is.
I'm proud of us. So.
I loved it.
This is no Lifetime Christmas movie. I'll tell you that much right now.
Well, doesn't Hallmark really have the monopoly on the Christmas movies?
They do.
I'm getting my channels mixed up. You're so right about that.
I think there's a convention.
There's a convention.
Hallmark, yes.
And it's in July.
Exactly.
Christmas.
Hallmark Christmas. Hallmark Christmas Con.
It's the day after Easter.
All right. So tell us about St. Denis real quick, because I want to make sure that people tune in. So it's coming out in fall.
Yes. And that one came about in an interesting way as well. So
tell us.
We get this was on a Wednesday. I'll never forget. On a Wednesday, I get a call from one of our producers on the Goldbergs, and I know what this is about. We're not coming back. We're not coming back. And I'm like, but it's 10 years.
Right.
You
it's
cannot
10 years. The kids are aging. Yeah, it's hard to write storylines. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing lasts that long anymore. So we had a great run, but it is bittersweet to say goodbye to your work family.
Yes.
And I'm talking every last grip, every makeup artist, every art props guys I still text with. Like, I love those people.
Yeah, 10 years of your life is a long time.
And this is the part where I rudely interrupt the interview to explain to you that the last 2.5 minutes of our conversation with Wendi was not recorded for whatever reason. Probably because we're really bad at technology, but maybe it wasn't our fault? ? So let me recap what happened in the last couple minutes of that conversation. Wendi explained she really loved her time in the Goldbergs and that no show runs that long anymore. So the last episode that they filmed together, everyone was crying and had a really sad time because they loved each other and they'd been around each other for almost a decade. Then I fanboyed out a little bit, told Wendi how much I loved her. She said, "Aw, shucks." I felt embarrassed because her husband was standing in the room. I quickly wrapped up the interview, said goodbye, and it sounded something like this. "Bye, Wendi. Thanks for coming. Bye, guys. Really enjoyed it. See you later. Goodbye." So now that you have the rest of the story, and my apologies to you and to Wendi, let's take a short break and we'll be back